Good day, loves. Welcome back to the Holistic Freedom Secrets Podcast.
Welcome back, y'all. It
This
is
is
episode 70,
70.
which is pretty dope. First of all, I'm Coach Soul.
And I'm Coach Tensi.
We are Ufulu Child, and our podcast follows our 5-prong healing system called the Freedom 5, which consists of the concepts be, cleanse, fuel, move, and shine. Today is Friday, so it's Shine Day. And SHINE is an acronym for sharing honest, insightful, nourishing expressions. What is expression? Expression it could be a gesture. It could be an act of kindness. It can be a creative, you use your creative powers to create something, right? And expression is what you do with your time and attention. And so sharing honest, insightful, nourishing expressions is how we build and sustain sustainable communities. Go Gigi, go. What up?
Good day, love.
Our mission for this podcast, our goal, you could say, is definitely to create and sustain a sustainable community, not around us, but with us.
Yes.
And so today is a really, really special day because in the overall mission of sharing honest, insightful, nourishing expressions, I've finally hit a milestone that it took a long time to hit. And I'm really excited to tell you about it. So as you can see in the title and the description, I have a book out. I have a book out now on the Lulu Bookstore. Sooner or later, I will have a physical copy that I can show you exactly what it looks like, but you can check it out with the link in the description and soon the link in the comments as well.
Instagram standby.
Instagram, okay. It'll be in the comments right after this episode. But it's on the Lulu Bookstore, LULU.com. And then you just search soul expression, or you can search the title, Culture Control, and it should come up for you. Very, very, very powerful, very insightful, and very nourishing and very honest book. How do we want to bring this?
Tell the story about it. What brought this about?
What brought this about? Man, what brought this about? So I consider myself a student of a few really, really cool individuals who decided to take their knowledge, expertise, and you could say life to the internet. Okay, these individuals, some of which being Billy Carson, Mark Passio, Jordan Maxwell, may he rest in peace, Lloyd Pye, Bruce Lipton, Muji, Alan Watts, these people that somehow, some way have hours and hours and hours of content on the internet, and they're super duper experts in their fields, and their fields are all about real and otherwise obfuscated truth.
And obfuscate means it's kind of like when meanings are mixed. So the true meaning of the word is lost in how it's been adapted to apply in in culture, in life, in society. And it's done intentionally to have people associate a word like opposites to mean a word to mean the opposite of what it actually means.
Yeah. So, for instance, Bruce Lipton, one of the people that I just named, he works in the field of genetics as well as a few other scientific fields. And the truth that he was working to de-obfuscate, if you will, is surrounding how your genetics don't control your outcomes, but you can actually become an agent of influence over your genetics, meaning you can influence positive change and or negative change in your life, in your um, how you grow to be and how you meet situations and how you respond to circumstances on a genetic level through the power of your will and your heart and your care and your mind and these things. And so he was tackling the otherwise, you know, obfuscated truth where the powers that should not be were trying to say that your genes control, so many outcomes in your life and you really can't do anything about it. And that's the end of the story. If you got bad genes, then sorry about your luck, the end. And that's just not true. So he went deeply into the field of epigenetics, epi being meaning above genetics, that which is over genetics in importance, as well as over genetics in terms of what really is behind the scenes, pulling the levers and pushing the buttons. So I was being a student of these people, and they were all talking about otherwise obfuscated truth. And first of all, let me just tell you a little about me. So I have never been afraid to completely change a narrative that I'm spinning, a narrative that I am participating in spreading when I'm met with new information. So as soon as I'm met with new information that makes sense and is verifiable and is common sense, and when I go to challenge it with what I used to think was true, I can't break it down, then I will switch immediately to what's more true and makes more sense to me. And I've never had a fear of conformity. I never really had such a strong, at least not when it comes to like what's true and what's not true. I conform in other ways. I am human, but as far as what's true and what's not true, and ideologically and philosophically, what is correct and what is incorrect, I will do full 180, 360, 720 spins and and go in different directions based on my religious, you could say, adherence or connection or attachment to truth itself. So if I find something more true, then that's what I go with. And what does that mean? I've had 2 or 3 different awakenings in my life. Okay, the first awakening was into the kind of darkness of the world. I went from being a child to being a young adult, and then to being a young adult who's now informed that the world is, or no, that human beings are very dark and associated with a lot of darkness, mostly unbeknownst to them, right? There's a very few people at the top, we all know what that means, that are manipulating the masses to do their bidding. And those people at the top are extremely dark people. And so we are forced by circumstance and by not knowing and by our own ignorance to follow the orders of and do the bidding of extremely dark people, making humanity's activities extremely dark to those that have their eyes open, to those that have eyes to see and ears to hear and hands to feel. There is an undeniable circumstance.
Cloak, a veil being pulled, wool being pulled over everybody's eyes.
Yes, there we go. There's an undeniable wool pulled over your eyes.
An undeniable going along to get along, an undeniable, yo, this is kind of wrong, but y'all okay with that?
Yeah, y'all don't see?
Y'all fine with that? Oh,
and that was like a first awakening, right? Realizing that the world can be a very dark place. Now, that doesn't mean there's no beauty in the world. That doesn't mean there's no goodness in human beings.
Of course there is.
There's so much, and children are innocent. My second awakening came by way of listening to a lot of spiritual truth that challenged my previous religious truth, which was not really so super strongly in me anyway. Okay, because I came from a family that was somewhat traditionally Christian, but also key members in my family, key members for me, were also interested in a lot of ancient African and ancient Native American, if you will, traditions, but information, knowledge.
Okay, history.
Yeah, knowledge. Yeah, knowledge. So knowledge about the universe or knowledge about history. And so I got a mix. And so you could say I definitely was Christian in a way where I was afraid of going to hell or stuff like that. But I wasn't like studying chapters of the Bible every night or anything like that. And I awakened to the self. Okay. I was listening to a lot of spiritual teachers, three very powerful ones, Muji, Papaji, and Ramana Maharishi.
And what did
they're from India. And
what did that do? Like what transformation or insight did?
Getting there.
Okay.
And they taught me the difference between myself and my mind. They taught me the difference between myself and my emotions. They taught me the difference between myself and my body. They taught me the difference between myself and my soul. Okay, anything that can be individualized and given personal properties, there's a difference between yourself and those realities. Hi, baby. Hello. I love you. Okay. And what that awakening did was that awakening detached me even further from almost anything I thought I knew.
We're gonna hop off to change Omi's diaper. Be right back.
Yeah. By we, she means Omi and herself.
Yeah. Love y'all. See you soon.
She's going like right there. But yeah, awaken to the self. And your self is not. Oh, first of all, I said that Muji was from India. Muji's not from India, but he did end up traveling to India. Muji is Jamaican, and he grew up in Jamaica. But nonetheless, I awakened to the truth of myself. So I no longer mistook my personality for the whole of me. I no longer mistook my mistakes in my life story for the whole of me. I no longer mistook the addictions and the vices that I held for myself as what will bring me happiness. Okay, because the me that wants the happiness from the vices no longer held any power and no longer held any reality. It's just a dream. Okay, life is a dream, but the dream is real. This means that there is a knowledge of yourself that's so deep and so intimate, it takes you beyond this life itself, and yet doesn't kill the body. You don't leave and then or you don't wake up to this reality and then your body suddenly dies, or starts to decay. All right. And so without getting into like a conversation about that truth, because that's a whole 16 episode series in and of itself, that was like my second awakening. And my third awakening was more politically based. Okay, I awakened out of the political beliefs that I once had into just truth. And there was too many awakenings in this greater awakening that was unfolding. The first mini awakening was going from the left to the right, and the second mini awakening was going from the right to spiritual anarchism. Okay, spiritual anarchy, or just, you could say, just true anarchy, which means not chaos and not whatever associations that people have given us about what anarchy is, but true anarchy. So true anarchy is very easily defined as voluntarism, the common sense idea that human interactions should and can be voluntary. That's it. No masters, no slaves, voluntary. Okay, so we can do projects that take years and years and are very hard to do, as long as we're not coercing people into doing actions for our bidding and harming them and or killing them if they don't comply. That's the difference. Voluntary. And in this third awakening of my life, I stepped into high gear in research and, let's say, care, true care for my fellow human beings, true care for what the previous awakening, the knowledge of self-awakening that I had really means and really could mean, not just for me, but for my impact on the world. And I developed a way of putting together, thoughts and arguing, you could say, points about how reality actually is, how human beings are supporting and condoning and participating in actual evil every single day and don't really know it and can't really see it because of our conditioning from before we leave the womb. And this culminated in me writing a book. Okay, the book is called Culture Control. Culture control. So it's like mind control, but like culture control. How the whole of everything around you, including you, is under control. And the subtitle is Why the Love of Money is Objectively the Root of All Evil. Is and all are capitalized. And in short, this just offers an exploration of the human condition. Okay, we dive into everything under the sun in regard to culture. So the origins of money, right? Money is like the mother of culture. How money moves in your culture is like how you are taken care of. Money, we dive into how money impacts society. Okay, we dive into the truth about human origins and the split between human origins and religious tales and religious storytelling. We dive into conventional beliefs about government, about human interaction, about voluntarism, about sustainability and growing food, if you will, being sustainable, not just self-sustainable, but community. We dive into the idea of courage and what courage actually means and where courage can actually lead somebody who is going through their own awakening process. And most of all, this book is an exploration into natural law. Okay, natural law is a concept taught to me by Mark Passio, but is a concept, is a reality, I should say, that's embedded in the universe itself. So I wouldn't merely say it's a concept that far predates Mark Passio. I would say that it's embedded in the universe itself beyond time and beyond space. You can't go anywhere and you can't go any time where natural law is not built into the structure of the universe. And what it is a set of universal, unchanging, non-man-made conditions that govern the consequences for behavior at different levels for beings that can understand to a certain degree. That beings that can that are intelligent past a certain point, you have a different level of natural law that's enacted above you. Just like matter, right? Matter has different sets of conditions governing the behavior of matter, whether it's inertia, electromagnetism, gravity, whatever it is, depending on how much mass that this particular piece of matter has. So a planet is governed a little differently from the fly, which is governed a little differently from the molecule and the atom, right? These, depending on the degree to which you can be, well, to which you are, let's say, made up, what makes you up, you'll have a different set of natural laws or universal laws that govern yourself. Excuse the choppiness of that, as I'm not reading a script or anything, but that's kind of how it works. Natural law is about the consequences to our behavior, and natural law is it's like the karmic law that's talked about in all cultures, ancient and modern, that deals with the resonance of the consequences that you face in your story according to the actions that you've done and the beliefs that you hold and all of that. All of your doing is your karma, right? That's what karma means. Karma in Indian means your doing. And that's because it's connected to your free will, okay? Your will that's beyond even your instinct, okay? Your free will choice. It's not natural law also is, according to Mark Passio, who is a former dark occult priest. He was appointed priest by, I believe his name is Anton LaVey, who was the founder of the Church of Satan, okay, in his youth. And then he eventually broke out of the dark occult and dedicated his life to exposing their tactics so that we can collectively wake up and eventually get out of the ignorance that they hold us to, and maybe even start winning the fight, which we are losing very badly against these occultists. But according to Mark, natural law is the biggest secret that they do not want taught to the masses, as far as where the masses will have real understanding of it and begin to live by it. They don't care. It's funny how we use they a lot when we talk about the the powers that should not be. And it's because there's far too many names to name. And then when you start to get specific and name names and things, then you have to somehow start providing proof, and you just get into the weeds of things. And so we're going to do the traditional and somewhat annoying sometimes thing of just saying they when it comes to the powers that should not be. And if you want to have a conversation with me personally about who's in the club and who's not, we can do that in the comments. But anyway, they do not care if natural law is presented to people, because the conditioning is so deep and so rich and so well put together, so brilliantly put together in people to go against and to attempt to defy natural law, that it doesn't matter if people learn about it, learn about its existence, and learn how it works through words. They will not necessarily change their behavior by way of just learning that this thing exists and it's governing consequences to your behavior, and here's how you live in accordance with natural law to bring about a better world. Because the grip that they have on our minds via the entertainment and media, via the enforcement arms and police and soldiers and intelligence agencies and surveillance and the technocracy, the grip that they have on our behavior is not so easily broken that new information is going to be enough to get people aligned with natural law. And of course, they reserve the last resort of going to complete violence and um, trying their best to force people back in line with their agendas if too many people wake up all at once, as they've done over and over and over again, as different cultures, small groups of people, but in a large enough landmass, began to wake up. Wars and things that we would call in America martial law, and crusades, and all of these things were done to people, and it traumatized people through their brain chemistry and their trauma responses out of whack, and they got back in line with the dark occult agenda. So this side explanation and side story is all to tell you what exactly was going through my mind and happening within me to one day go ahead and write this book. So I'm very, very happy to share it with you. Again, on YouTube, it's right in the description. You can click the link. On Facebook, it's in the comments. For Instagram, it will be in the comments very soon. At its core, this book is a call to action, not merely in the pursuit of material wealth so that you can buy change for everybody, but in the expansion of awareness, and with the emphasis that teaching the next generation of children natural law is the target goal that we all should share if we say we want more human freedom, if we say we want more human sharing, and if we say we want more love in humanity. Okay, the main target of any dark occult regime is the next generation of children. It always has been, and for their future agendas, it always will be, so long as they exist, or at least so long as they have power. The infiltration of the education systems and the infiltration of the governing bodies over the education system is always first on their list to take over. After that, it's the media. Okay, and with the media and the education system, these groups of people have learned to teach the new agenda to at least one new generation of children, and then those that generation of children grows up and it's a numbers game, they see how much influence they were able to, how much of their influence they were able to use to make them act in alignment with their agendas. All right. And so enough teaching from me, though. This is a really, really, really powerful book. Again, it's called Culture Control: Why the Love of Money is Objectively the Root of All Evil. Is in all caps for the subtitle. Really, really excited and want to encourage you all to get the book. Are there any thoughts about the book that you wanted to share this episode?
It is gonna just rock your paradigm in a way that anything that could be out of alignment with truth will find its alignment. And one big thing about it that I love is that it talks about the universal law and how we can more easily align our lives with just what on a universal scale is necessary in order for us to truly be free, individually, also within our families and within our communities, in the world at large, to collectively truly be free. That is what Ufulu Child is all about. That's literally, Ufulu means freedom. So it's power. That part alone is powerful to me, and I just love how it dives into concepts that are true in history, and it doesn't just like gloss over things and take them for granted, but it really like peels back the layers and examines and questions, and I think that's powerful. And yeah, we should do like a virtual book club one of these things, maybe on Fridays or something.
Also, just as a side note, it does gradually take you through the paradigm shift. So it gives you some of the softer concepts to help you think like the right way, you could say, and then more of the more hardcore truth after I tell my story in chapter 8.
Yeah, I would say read it in order. I would say this is not a book to just jump ahead.
Definitely read it in order. Yeah.
Because whenever you get a new book, you're like, let me flip through the pages.
Yeah, it's not a reference book. It's a book designed that you read it from beginning to end, and the end is like a conclusive, short, discussion using the Wizard of Oz actually to discuss a greater concept. Really, really cool stuff. So, like I said, it goes through the softer, then the medium, then I tell my story, and then the more hardcore truths toward the end. And then we wrap it up with a nice little analogy. So
I'm proud of you. And yeah, check out the book. The link will be in the
Instagram
bio.
Okay,
soon.
in the bio soon.
But
we'll put it in the comments too, for those of you that like to be on Instagram at your computer, and you can just type in the URL. I know you can't copy and paste via Instagram comments like you can with Facebook, but either way, it's completely fine. Put it in there.
Okay, loves. Well, that is all that we have for today's episode of the Holistic Freedom Secrets podcast.
Go get you a copy of the book.
Holistic Freedom.
Yes. Yeah, share this out as well. Meet us in the comments. Tell us what you think about it, or tell us that you bought it and that you're excited to read it.
Yeah, share a picture when you get it too. Like
we'd love to see
all of the things.
And tag us.
Yeah. We'll see you next time. We'll see you Monday for our next episode of the Holistic Freedom Secrets podcast. And maybe like on the weekend we can do like a virtual book club or something. I think y'all let us know too if that's something that you might be interested in. Okay. Take care. Peace.